here you'll see I changed the times. So we're and I dropped yesterday's, like I was saying the other day. So I'm doing the late night sessions Sunday, 11 p.m. till midnight or later, depending on how much shit I can talk. And then yeah, like I said, I've dropped Saturday. For now, it's only because I've got other things going on, like I mentioned the other day. So as soon as I've back on track there, I'll probably do Saturdays again. But anyway, in the meantime, it gives me some time to do some non-live videos in between, or edit out the live videos and fine-tune the parts in there, and then pop up some videos. Get us last night, sorry, not last night's, Friday's video there, I noticed too, cut out a couple of times here and there. I think that was because I was testing recording and stuff on and off throughout it. Obviously that was a bad idea because it did actually cut out quite a bit at the end. Nothing real important, but I did cut out the credits for people there, I suppose. But yeah, I'll fix that. I'll make sure it doesn't skip and jump so much like it was the other day. This one is looking better already. Yeah, got it rolling properly, yeah. But I can only find out afterwards when I do a rewatch. Sorry about the noise. Like I say, all these have been testing. Pretty tired today, sorry people. All these videos have been testing, you know, as I go, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the sound, pretty happy with the video there. I think this kind of the color setting I've got going on the video now works. Is that updated? Yeah, Fridays 10 p.m. Yeah, 11. So that's the new times. And Wednesday morning, wake and bake. Just gonna roll this up and we'll have a look over some things. I'm probably gonna watch something there in the background, do that YouTube we were gonna do yesterday. So I'm a little bit out of sorts today, sorry. I'm not too sure where I'm gonna head with it. So you know what, we'll have a tip instead of a filter. Just for that extra fucking boof. Let me see what I had going on here in the background too. We're looking at the news as I always do. Same old going on over here, of course. Well, not of course, but the same old's going on over here with the crackdown on the medical cannabis. I guess we'll have a talk about it. I think I did actually get something sort of ready here. I'll just find it. There was, I do recall writing something up that would talk about that again. Yeah, I do actually. All right, we'll crack into this in a minute. Let me get this rolled up and we'll get on to it. I did have a little bit of an update, but like I said, most of the news here is still the same stuff going on. But I will go over it again quickly and just have a quick look at. Oh, I'll look back actually. There's a bit more further back as well. Well, that's interesting. Okay, we're gonna have to have a look at that one. Yeah, no, that's not quite what I was preparing actually. But you know, we've got the same old thing going on back here at the moment with APRA and issued guidance for doctors to treat prescribing as opiates. Again, that 57 practitioners that have been, or probably more now, facing disciplinary action for unsafe prescribing. As we mentioned, if you look back, this is a lot to do with the fact that they've, well, it seems to be a lot to do with a particular mob having taken advantage of a government scheme and abused their patients that were on it, which is just greed, actually, or well, it is just greed because they're obviously not watching what was going on with their patients and just watching the money coming in. Well, they weren't listening to their patients, that's for sure. What have we got here? And then, oh yeah, there's a research come out of the Leafwell and George Mason University, which found that medical cannabis users had fewer ER visits and an improved quality of life, which is in direct contrast to what is happening, or what the APRA and TGA are actually saying again now in their latest development. So is Australia being too cautious, or is it protecting patients from overprescription? I would say it's, I guess let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're being too cautious, because they're not protecting anyone from well, they're not looking after anyone's health. That's clear. Covered that with the one on the what is actually the hidden health crisis, which is actually PGRs, if you have a look at it, because all the effects of PGR use, like it is on cannabis, apparently it seems to be what they're claiming is the negative effects of cannabis, which is again in direct contrast to what studies have been showing for years. Like, cannabis doesn't cause violence. In the UK, they're now saying it does. Kind of, you know, and basically, when you look at the I'll release the full article shortly, but when you have a look at the video we talked about yesterday with PGRs and the effects of PGRs use in illicit cannabis, it lines up with pretty much lines up directly with what they're saying is the negative effects of cannabis. So in other words, it's not the negative effects of cannabis they're worried about, it's actually the negative effects coming out of the illegal market of cannabis, which is that PGR laden fucking rubbish, which is apparently everywhere globally. And, you know, you can sort of track that down to one or two mobs. It's just why it is like it is, and it is global. They're pieces of shit who are poisoning everyone for money. But just greedy, man. Just greedy. A lot of greedy little pigs in the world. But, you know, the greedy pigs fucking have their day, but most of them don't even realise it's their day when they're getting their day. They're just greedy fucking pigs. Take. At the cost, you know, the cost of whatever. Which is why you've got the PGRs and basically a complete destruction of what was once great quality street cannabis, actually. And I'd say the street cannabis has only degraded since it brought out that kind of shit. People have always, obviously, you know, because it is a black market, they've always been able to abuse the quality of it and add weight and whatever the fuck. And people used to fly spray and things like this, apparently, you know. Probably still do. All sorts of things people do to illegal market shit to make it seem like it's better, or, you know, which is why it's got to be legalised and not have quite the opposite to what TGA and APRA are doing, because what they're doing is not helping the public health system. Like I say, they've got to look at the bigger picture and what's actually behind the scenes on the cannabis, which is PGRs, mate. Look at the PGRs, because that's the fucking problem, not the cannabis. As I say, studies have actually shown for decades that cannabis isn't the problem. And suddenly you're starting to try and say that it is, and you're matching it up with things that are completely opposite to what have come out about cannabis in the past. But line up perfectly with the effects of overused PGRs and illicit cannabis. That's the problem, not cannabis. Like always, it's never been cannabis. It's the shit that people use and put in it. But the biggest one over the past 30 years, and the biggest one that has caused the most problems with weed and people's health and is yet to come out, is PGRs. And this is why it's the one you've got to go after, not cannabis. You've got to go after the illegal PGR production and use, not the cannabis, because it's actually been it's been tainted by that, because as we know, it doesn't actually make people violent. It does the opposite. But apparently, when they're running around smoking that crap, PGO, well, I know, I mean, I've seen people smoke it with the younger generations, and I mean, I feel sorry for you because it's pretty much all you fucking had access to. I watch a lot of you smoke it, and you carry on and fucking, you know, you're angry. It's half the reason you're angry is because you're not getting stoned. And then when you did actually get stoned off good stuff, it spun half of yours out because you've been smoking crap your whole life. Too used to this low grade rubbish that was actually extremely bad for your health, and as we know, causes mood swings and all sorts of fucking crap. It is a big problem. That's the underlying health problem with cannabis. It's PGRs. I know there was a big push against it a while ago, but it doesn't seem to have been enough because it's still so prevalent out there. It's still being manufactured, it's still being produced, it's still being sold. You know, if one label disappears, it's just replaced or copied by another to fucking make more money. That's how greedy these fuckers are. And most of them come out of the same places that are actually doing the registered ones. So this is, I guess, how the way they get around it. This is how they're actually, you know, avoiding the system, because they do have regulated PGRs coming out of the factory too. But then on the other day, doing the other end, dumping all the shit into those bottles, I guess, to get rid of it. And sell it out the back door to your fucking big Asian grow houses and things. Directly, you know, this is what goes on. Which is why quality of pot has been, in Australia and worldwide actually, but in Australia, has been decimated by basically, you know, a handful of people to line their own pockets. So you can thank those people for all the shit that you've smoked over the years. And if you get any health problems and stuff from it, or you can thank those people again for those health problems and shit that they've given you, because PGRs have no place in cannabis horticulture. No, and you know, like I've said before, used them before I knew enough about them. And in the early days, well, not many did they? But they were used in very small amounts. And to be fair, like say registered ones are used in small amounts, but I still wouldn't use them nowadays. From what I know about them, I wouldn't use them at all. Even in small, safe, you know, dosages, I wouldn't be using it. You know, I mean the word safe very lightly. TGA and APRA need to look at PGRs in cannabis, not, well, actually they need to look behind the scenes. Look at cannabis, but look behind the scenes, mate, because it's not the cannabis that you're raving on about, and these effects that you're saying is not cannabis. They're the effects from the black market and illegal cannabis. If you think people are smoking just the medical cannabis on the medical, you're fucking stupid too, because they're not. You don't actually supply enough of it. To be fair, you do for some, but there's a lot of people out there that actually have more than that. So they'll still be going to the black market and getting that stuff anyway, but they're not going to tell you that, are they? They're just going to say they've been having the medical. I'm not going to tell you they've been getting a legal pot as well. So this is why the figures are always skewed, because people don't tell the truth anyway. Especially when it comes to things that live in a grey area like cannabis. The truth is rarely told. It's always a little bit skewed, often from both sides, depending on what they're asked. I was doing a breakdown of the states too earlier. I was doing a little bit of a search through things. What do I get to? Oh yeah, I looked at the TGA stuff, so I'm looking into the changes there. It's not too much about the changes. Like the process, I mean, of application. There's clear tension between the findings of the Leafwell George Mason University study and the current stance of Australia's regulatory bodies, particularly the Therapeutic Goods Administration, TGA, and APRA. So I'm saying, well, like, the studies elsewhere are showing completely opposite to what these guys are saying. It's a knee-jerk reaction to a problem they don't understand, is what's going on here. It's either that or they've got other people lining their pockets, I don't know. It's always possible too, isn't it, from what we've seen in the past of things? I hope not. They're certainly looking at the wrong things, and in direct contrast with other studies that are coming out elsewhere. Credible sources, so, you know. I mean, it's that study, you know, and the one, it is in direct contrast to what they're saying here, because they've actually said that it doesn't help with any of those, the quality of life or care usage, etc. But we know it does. In July 2025, yeah, okay, the same caution as other drugs of dependence. It was treated like opium. It's just a nicer headline that way. Over 160 cannabis studies published in 2025. Researchers have released 160 peer-reviewed studies in the first half of 2025. Topics include neurological neurological disorders, immune diseases, sleep dysfunction, and chronic inflammation. Studies are expanding beyond THC and CBD, as we know, to explore minor cannabinoids like CBG, CBC, and THCV, which show promise in targeted therapies. What's this one? Load THC extracts for Rett syndrome. It's true. But I'm going to keep banging on about that PGRs and the effects of PGRs on cannabis, because it's directly linked with what's going on here with the TGA and APRA. So and apparently what's going on there in the UK, the Sun, with their reefer madness that they've got happening. Offbeat. Just check the next date on this one. Yeah, Offbeat News, there you go. A Polk country man accused of stealing, this is American boy, stealing more than 130k worth of weed from cannabis dispensary. It's a lot of weed to steal from the dispensary in his work. So, a Polk country man is accused of stealing more than 100k worth of marijuana from his employer. Police say Kadem Jones stole the cannabis before his shift at Grow Healthy, a cannabis dispensary. Jones was charged with possession of cannabis with intent to sell. Grand theft greater than 100,000. That's a lot. Yeah, well, he's in a bit shit, isn't he? And possession of drug paraphernalia. And now former employee of a cannabis dispensary. Hold on, Lake Wales, sorry, different one. And now former employee of a cannabis dispensary was arrested. Oh, it's the same guy, sorry, it's just the way they've written it. After police say he stole more than 21 pounds of marijuana before his shift early this month. Fuck, mate. The backstory: according to the Lake Wales Police Department, Kadem Jones entered the Grow Healthy facility before. It's like Half-Baked, isn't it? They weren't working there, but it's almost like Half-Baked. The movie before the original, before his scheduled shift on July 9, and stole nearly 24 pounds of marijuana worth 132,833 American dollars, I guess, US. Detectives with LWPD said they tried to get surveillance video, but when no action was taken after 8 days, they executed a search warrant at the Grow Health facility. Like, hold on, this is different, isn't it? So detectives with LWPD said they tried to get surveillance video, but when no action was taken after 8 days, so I guess Grow Healthy didn't give them the surveillance video. It's the same different game. It's so funny, isn't it? Executed a search warrant at the Grow Healthy facility located at 309 South Aquifer Road. After reviewing footage of the incident, officers saw Jones gathering white tubes. I'll screen share this, I think, because you want to see his mug, don't you? Where is it? Oh, itchy nose. There he is. There you go. You got a mug on him too. Let's go. Boom. There he is. See? That guy. That guy there. Oops. There. In my main screen, there we are. So after reviewing footage of the incident, officers saw Jones gathering white tubes containing cannabis in a plastic container and putting the container on top of a black tub also containing cannabis. So what's going on there? It sounds like it's actually, it is the employee, but it sounds like the cops are back. No, you know, like it sounds like they've seen some. Hold on, let's go back here. What happened here? After reviewing, okay, no. Said they tried to get surveillance. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so maybe they asked for surveillance video. And I guess maybe there's something more going on. And Grow Healthy was like, oh, we don't really want to give them that for whatever reason. But they obviously have got it in the end. So according to LWPD, surveillance footage shows Jones walking out of the building with the tub, placing it into a vehicle and driving away from the facility. Upon the report, police said Jones was initially identified by Director of Compliance and Security Michael Schell through electronic logs that showed where Jones scanned his badge to enter. Yeah. His identity was later confirmed by his supervisor on Thursday, June 17th. Obviously, detectives went to Jones' home in Dundee and arrested him for possession of cannabis with intent to sell. Grand theft for 100,000. I'm guessing he's going to jail. And possession of drug paraphernalia. They didn't find the missing cannabis and it's still ongoing. Oh, he's probably lucky with that. Although they've got all the evidence, that doesn't matter, does it? LWPD said it is forwarding the investigations to the Department of Health, which is responsible for licensing businesses to cultivate, process, and dispense. I know words. I guess the dispensary is going to have some issues there. Anyway, off topic. Where is it? Yeah, back to that one. A bit of off topic news, and there was something else. Where is it? It's down here. Yeah. What did you do in fresh one of these? What's this? Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota will hold a green lottery on July 22nd to issue new cannabis retailer. Oh yeah, I forgot they did this kind of shit. To issue new cannabis retailer licenses. This includes a second chance for social equity applicants who missed out in the June round. And the National Cannabis Festival was in Washington, D.C. on July 18th to 19th, is that right? Featuring performances by a couple of fucking people and rappers and shit. TY dollar sign. And those kind of motherfuckers. National Cannabis, Big Boy 3, 6 Mafia, and more. Well, that's over. Hope you enjoyed it if you went to it over there, people. I'm going to put something on in the background here because this is late night chill sessions, like I say, and I'm chilling. So while I roll up and chill a bit more, I'm just going to find a I'll find a bit of a background thing to play. Probably uncannabis related, but public domain. Just seeing what I got here. Yeah, I'll put on that one there. Night of the Living Dead in the background. Let's get that on for a bit. If it works. Oops. Yeah, it works. Oh shit. Fucked that up. Sorry for that. I'll just put it on the background anyway. While I roll up. Let me share the screen. Oh yeah, it's going to be coming through a bit, isn't it? Sorry. Look at that. Yeah, it's better, isn't it? Sorry about that. So I'm practicing. That's the whole point of these at the moment, is to sort of test shit as I go through each evening. So, I'm sorry if I blasted you or something. Alright, let's roll up. Non-cannabis related, like I say, and just let's just have something to play in the background while I roll this up again before I have a look at some more. But that's pretty much it, to be honest, for a lot of what's been going on in news and everything. We've covered it over and over the last few days. I don't think I can actually has it gone through? Oh no, it hasn't gone through yet, sorry. There. Sorry, huh? I believe that's working. Alright, let me roll this tip. So actually Saturdays will
They ought to
become
make the day the time changes, the first day of summer.
the day that I
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
started dropping things like the
extra
podcast. So I
daylight
can get
does
rid of
us. Now we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well,
the
if it
series
really
for
bugged you, Johnny,
the
you
one
wouldn't do
series,
it.
the first series.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a
I
scene
do have
like
the one with the
that?
article and the
I figure we're
PDRs,
either going to
one
have to
thing,
move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, I don't know that she can. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah,
See, I
5
don't
minutes to
mind the
put the
old,
wreath on the grave and 6 hours to
Don't
drive
mind the
back
old,
and forth.
old
Mother wants to remember, so
horror
we
movies
trot
and
200
things. I mean,
miles into the country and she stays at home.
Night of the Living Dead's the original zombie movie. I do have it on DVD somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problems.
Last week we checked out, no, just having time filling here in the background. But last week we actually watched Reaper Madness.
Nothing wrong with the radio. Must have been the station.
Again, just been sort of mucking around. We'll probably have another revisit in the future. But I was happy with the sound and all that.
Well, there's
It'll
no
be-
one around.
We'll be caving out of
It's late. If you'd gotten up earlier.
Oh, look, I already lost an hour's sleep on the time change.
I think you complain just to hear yourself talk. There it is.
Hot chocolate.
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We come out here and the one from last year's gone.
Well, the flowers die, and the caretaker or somebody takes them away.
Yeah, a little spit and polish, you can clean this up. Sell it next year. Wonder how many times we bought the same one. Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning,
I'm
huh?
gonna grab a bit of cake and I'll give me 2 seconds.
Hey, I mean praying's for church, huh? Come on.
I haven't seen you in church lately.
Well, there's not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small, we were out here? It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa got all excited, and he shook his fist at me, and he said, "Boy, you be damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Well, you used to really be scared here.
Johnny,
You're still afraid.
stop it now. I mean it.
Just gotta let that sit.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny.
If I remember correctly. I'll have a look anyway. But
Oh, no! Oh, Johnny! Help me!
this is like a uni, high school sort of video thing that we just turn into what it is. Cult classics. It's really fun. fucking around anymore, will he? That's not bad. Actually, that's not bad at all. We just watch Barbara here for a second and I'll flip back to the side. Shit. I don't think I can flip it without losing it. I'm just going to enjoy this joint. Oh, shit, thought that was going to happen. Dogs mucking around. This guy. And then the whole movie they pretty much spent in the house from memory. Alright. Yeah, came back. Get off that. Back to the scene. The news. But I think we covered it. Yeah, policy changes. In the US this is, I believe. Still, yeah, Florida, yeah, that's that guy. What's it say? At federal level, in the US, funding for cannabis rescheduling is under threat while protections for state legal medical marijuana programs remain intact. Might have to people for that one up. Zechariah is moving forward with legalization globally. Then it jump back to Oregon, so Oregon's reviewing cannabis-related criminal justice. Let's have a look at this one here, the federal reforms in the US. Sorry, my glasses off. Yeah. Welcome back to the Week in Weed, your Friday look at what's happening. Welcome back to the Week in Weed, your Friday week. Your Friday look at what's happening in the world of legalized marijuana. This week, another cannabis Another cannabis legalization measure cropped up in Pennsylvania. Congress is debating federal hemp restrictions as part of the Farm Bill. In other federal news, funding for cannabis rescheduling could be on the chopping block, while state legal medical marijuana programs could be protected. Let's see what's going on here. Virginia launched a commission to study setting up a retail cannabis market. Cool. Pennsylvania, adult use cannabis has been a case of always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Okay. Measures are introduced, but nothing's ever been passed. Okay, yeah, it's kind of like Australia, isn't it? Constant promises of cannabis cafes and things, and then nothing ever actually gets passed. Or happens or comes of it. We get kickbacks like we're getting now, when they try and drag us back to 1936 instead of just looking into the, what's really happening behind the scenes. What is actually the hidden health crisis? EGRs are the hidden health crisis. They're going to cause a lot of problems. Besides. Measures are introduced, but nothing's ever been passed. The most recent attempt involved adding a provision to the state's budget bill, but it went nowhere. Now there's a new bill introduced late last week. Same old shit that we get going on. Just keep fucking their people around. Over there in Pennsylvania. Hemp, remember when Senator Mitch, no I don't, because I don't know Senator Mitch, signed the 2018 Farm Bill with a hemp pen? Oh god. And there was a campaign advertising footage of him standing in a field of cannabis. Yeah, okay. Sounds like some of our politicians. That was then. This is now. The former Senate Majority Leader is currently backing a measure that would direct the Food and Drug Administration to set strict limits on the amount of THC in hemp. So this is silly, the whole thing they do with hemp there. And this whole, what is it, below less than 0.3% or something THC in hemp, because naturally it slowly increases, which is why they have to do continually, why the crops are continually tested. Proponents want to prevent intoxicating products from being sold without any legal oversight, while critics fear it could wipe out the hemp industry entirely. Well, so I guess they're trying to set it even lower, which would be almost impossible to reach, because like I say, it's at hemp, that 0.02 or whatever it is, it's a 0.02 or 3, is quite hard to reach anyway. And to reach those kind of levels, you're talking, even if it's got high CBD, they're shitty strains. Yeah, they're more fibrous than anything, so for medical use, it's not as good, except some of the chemicals you're getting out of it, I suppose. But you can get all that out of the other. It's the same. A plant does do all of it. It just depends on the varieties, but it's got the whole lot. THC, CBD, THCA, all the different levels of it. That's why the finding the right variety is so important, because it's got the different levels of all those different chemicals and terpene. It's the entourage, the terpenes are just as important as all your different chemicals of cannabis, I suppose, a better word. Cannabinoids is what I was probably looking for. Chemicals of cannabinoids, that is what I was looking for, wasn't it? Federal rescheduling, here we go. We know not much is happening. As regards federal cannabis rescheduling, some folks in Congress would like to make sure that remains the case. Yeah, same as here. A subcommittee of the House Appropriations Committee passed a spending bill that would prevent the Department of Justice, DOJ, from using federal funds to reschedule cannabis. Okay. So the DOJ was, well, probably when Musk was at the head of it, was looking at rescheduling cannabis, but with federal funds. Well, I guess, well, how else are they going to do it? This same bill contains a rider that would prohibit DOJ from using federal funds to interfere in state legal medical cannabis programs. Okay. Keep in mind, this piece of legislation is a long way from law. The bill now goes to the full House. Okay. Then the House floor, then to the Senate, and so on. Oops. Where's this article from too? Because they mentioned here at the end of it, they go, as regular readers, no, we are solid supporters of marijuana plants here. Oh, okay. At the blunt truth, said this week, we're giving a shout out to the Virginia legislator, which has just set up a committee to investigate and establishing. Yeah, okay, so that's the first one. Joint Commission. Okay, see it. Actually, I don't know where that's from, you know, because blunt truth, but that's not what this website is. It's JD Supra. Which I can't say I've ever been to before. That's where I found that one. That's the news. Yep, that's everything pretty much. Like I say, there hasn't been a lot of changes. I was just looking over the global news there before. What's this one? I was pulled up this one too. Oh yeah, we will look over this one. Let's open it up. I don't know if we'll look over it tonight though. This is the Greens proposal for a legal cannabis scheme for Australia. Let's see how big the file is. There you go. What's going on here? Oh, you're making me sign in, you bastard. Oh. Which one is it? Shit. Sorry. Shit, I can't even find the bloody thing. It's called this one. Oh, that's done. Keep in mind that actually that worked well. That was actually quite nice. Just that little bit more distance going on there that made that. Just not, it's just a touch cooler and nicer. That was nice. I like that. Go away. Oh, there we go. Let's get rid of that too. So how many pages have we got to go through if we have a look at it? I think this might be a full video, to be honest. Yeah, okay. I don't think we'll jump straight into this one. Have a look at it right now. Because what have we got? We've got quite a few pages to go through, and if I did it now, we wouldn't be looking at it properly. We'll start on the touch at the beginning here. Summary of proposal. The proposal would legalise the production and sale of recreational cannabis in Australia through a tightly regulated model and by establishing the Cannabis Australia National Agency, CANA, C-A-N-A, not to be confused with other brands. The market will exclude any existing tobacco, pharmaceutical or alcohol suppliers and be structured to be primarily based on not-for-profits, small businesses, cooperatives and sole traders. Interesting. See what they're trying to do. It'd be good if they could do such a thing, I suppose. It's, you know, it seems a little bit idealistic, which is typical of the Greens, in my opinion, but you know, if it could be done, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Households would be permitted to grow up to 6 plants for personal use without needing a license or paying tax. The government's not going to like that. The proposal would start on 1st July 2025. This will be interesting, I suppose. We'll see how this goes. Well, I'll go through the first page, but we'll actually touch on this properly with the next, probably Wednesday's Wake and Bake. Or I might do something in between Tuesday or drop something. Like I say, I'm trying to get this podcast done though, so it's probably more, I'll put that ahead of it, of this kind of stuff. Just do this on the live ones. Additional information based on further advice provided. The CANA would be established to oversee the legalisation and regulation of recreational cannabis, act as the sole wholesaler between producers and retail outlets, set the wholesale price of cannabis. Okay, set the wholesale price of cannabis based initially on the Australian street price of cannabis, which would then fluctuate according to market forces. Be responsible for issuing production licenses to cultivators and sale licenses to private Nimbin retail. Yeah, this has got Nimbin written all over. Sale licenses to private retail outlets. The CANA's departmental costs would be fully recovered by the application fees for production and retail licenses. Sales of recreational cannabis would be restricted to individuals over 18 years of age with no restrictions on the amount individuals could purchase. I agree, that should be the same as alcohol and anything else. Penalties would apply for the sale of cannabis by retail outlets to individuals under 18 years of age, same as cigarettes and anything else. Sales of recreational cannabis, or same as anything that's for adults, not for kids. Sales of recreational cannabis overseas visitors would be permitted. Bit of legal recreational market, why wouldn't it be? I do believe it's up to those individuals, because I think places like certain places in the world will actually prosecute their citizens if they learn that they've broken laws overseas. Like I believe that's for Koreans, that issue. If their government learns that they've broken laws overseas that break their laws, in other words, like it might be legal in the place they're at, but it's not legal in Korea, then when they get back to Korea, they may have a problem. Imports of cannabis into Australia would remain illegal. Yeah, well, of illegal cannabis into Australia, I assume. Imports of cannabis into Australia would remain illegal. It's funny how they don't mention illegal cannabis. Sales of recreational cannabis would attract the goods and services tax as well as, well, of course, does, as well as an excise of 15% on GST inclusive sales. It's bumping it up a bit. So hold on, let's go back to their pricing there. What are they saying on their pricing? Wholesale price of cannabis based initially. Okay, so they're going to set the wholesale price and then they're going to club you with, what is it? You attract the goods and services tax, so that's 10%, as well as an excise of 15% on GS. Okay. Alright. What's that coming up there? Oh, there it is. Fucking AI, or some kind of pop-up AI to ask me to do something. Let's ask AI to summarize this document. Oh, let's get it to do that. Fuck it. So, whose AI is this? This is Adobe AI, so apparently, let's see how it goes. Not very well so far. It's taken a while. Oh, it's working. Alright, here we go. This document outlines a proposal by the Australian Greens to legalise recreational cannabis in Australia under a tightly regulated model starting 1st of July 2025. So they've missed this one, haven't they? She didn't really notice it, Dave, but obviously, I mean, this is the one that we're talking about already, but obviously, model starting, well, this hasn't started anywhere, has it? Regulation, when do they actually submit this? It doesn't actually say. Not here, it doesn't, not in the document. Regulation, okay, and oversight, establishing the cannabis, yeah, we went through that. Market structure, exclusion of tobacco, 6 plants, yep, so it's sales and restrictions, sales restrict, yeah, okay, we covered that. Excise 15%. Financial implications, the proposal is expected to increase, expand this a bit, it's a bit shit there. Oh, there we go. The proposal is expected to increase fiscal balance by 2.4 billion and underlying cash balance by 2.3 billion over the 2025 to 26 budget. Forward estimates period. Revenue sources include excise tax, GST and license fees, while costs include establishing CANA and updating ATO systems. Uncertainties. Okay. Challenges include estimating cannabis production. Well, I guarantee you're gonna underestimate it because that seems to be the case everywhere. And the consumption, you're gonna underestimate that. Well, maybe possibly overestimate. I guess it'll be underestimated initially. And market price. Behavioural responses to legalisation and operational readiness in July 2025. Like I said before, the fact that they, that it's like what we've just seen in Thailand. Okay, so Thailand basically went from let's swing it from extreme. Excuse the pun, but let's swing it from extremes. So they went from hanging people, for cannabis and drugs and things, to having a legal market like it did, and as we saw it explode, which was much more normal. But because it it was sort of done very suddenly, and and it just exploded like it did, and it's one, and again, it's a pocket. It's a pocket on the globe. You know, it's like, for example, Nimbin is a pocket. You know, it's a pocket on the globe. Amsterdam is a pocket on the globe. All these little known places, you know, they're pockets on the globe. And then now you've got states in America, like Colorado and various ones. But there's that many states in America nowadays. I wouldn't call it a pocket. I'd just say that their federal government's way behind, because there's more than enough states now that the federal government should actually have, well, the majority is, isn't it? I believe. Isn't the majority of states? Let's have a quick look at that. I can probably get a good enough answer out of fucking one of these AIs for that one, can't I? Maybe not that one though. Shut that. Yeah, this one. How many states have legalized, oops, in the US? As of early 2025, 24 states are US states. So no, okay, so it hasn't quite flipped over yet, has it? There you go. Because they got 51, isn't it? So 24 US states and the District of Columbia have legalized cannabis for adult recreational use. So they're basically one step away, as well, one state away or two states away from being a majority of states legalized for adult recreational use. So it looks like we may be seeing that tipping point coming, where the federal government over there will actually have no choice because the states have spoken. The majority of the states have spoken. That's democracy, isn't it? And then it says 40 states, 40 have legalized for medicinal purposes. And they do have, I believe they do have federal medicinal, don't they? They have that, they had that for a long time. Not quite the same as we do though. I don't know how it works there, actually. It's a bit funny, isn't it? Well, let's just ask it, I suppose. What's the federal, yeah. Okay, I'm getting used to this keyboard. At the federal level, cannabis is still considered illegal in the United States. It's classified as Schedule 1. Yeah, I know that part. But what about, which means it's deemed to have a high potential for abuse and no acceptable medical use. Okay, so it does know. Well, they did have something at the top there, but isn't that odd? Because you got more, I mean, they've got the 40 states have said yes to medical, but they're still saying, you know, there's no medical value. So yeah, that's not right, is it? Because that's not democracy working there. Because if you got 40 or 50, is it 52 states they got something? Yeah. How many states has America got? Just to double check. I'm sure that'll get that right. 50, sorry, 50 states. Why was I saying 51? I know Hawaii was the last. I don't know what happened to my internet. I'm not sure if I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, it's come back. All right, sorry about that. My connection dropped out completely. Oops. No, I don't know what happened there. I don't know why that dropped out. Sorry about that. Anyway, all right. Well, that's enough shit talking anyway. I'll be back Wednesday morning for a wake and bake, and then in between there, I'll drop the first episode of the podcast I've been talking about. So that'll be coming Tuesday, I'd say, actually. Tuesday night. In the meantime, people, enjoy your Monday morning.